Hi all, welcome back. So this is our second session, and so we will start with the AWS Fleet Hire and some of the other things as part of the introduction to AWS. Yeah. So with respect to AWS Fleet Hire. So AWS Fleet Hire enables you to gain free hands-on experience with the AWS platform products and services. So you will be able to create a free account on the AWS website, and you can also try a few services for free, uh, right? So yeah, so basically so free AWS free tier, so type of offers, some things, some of the popular services like a Linux system or a Windows system, it is available for 12 months free. Again, there are conditions applied. So it's like, which service is available, for how much time free, and so basically these details will be available in this particular page, AWS free tier. So there are a lot of conditions here, so we need to be very careful, I mean, just to ensure that we are not billed. So for creating the account, you actually start with this, create an AWS account, and then you start giving the basic information about you, and at the end you also need to give your credit card details. So initially you will not be billed. So once you start using the services, anything outside of the free tier, you are billed. So anything you use within the free tier, you will not be billed. So but again, you need to be very clear. So we will discuss about I mean, with respect to in our next module, Amazon EC2 when we start. So how to create EC2 instances, how to use as part of the free tier. So we will look at all that at that particular time. But as of now, just to give you a heads up, so if you have to create an account, you just click on this create a AWS account. So fill up your basic information about you, and at the end you also need to give a credit card details. So once you start using any services, anything you use as part of the free tier, you are not billed. Anything you use outside the free tier, you are billed. So what is part of the free tier and what is not part of the free tier, I mean, you can basically understand looking at this particular page. So let's say you want to know basic about compute services. So compute is basically it covers your EC2 instances. So here it says 12 months free, 750 hours. So again, there are conditions that are applied. Not every instance is applicable as part of this. So there are only some instances which are eligible for free tier. So we will discuss about that in the next module when we start with the AWS EC2. Yeah. So let's continue with the current one for now. And so this is so this is a website to go for the AWS free tier page. And here one thing you need to be very careful is you need to know if respective service is free and what are its free limits. So let's say you have, I mean, there are a lot of services of AWS. So for the first thing is which service is free or not, you need to know. Number two is that respective service, what are its free limits. So even that you need to have clarity. So if you're using a service that is not a free, you are billed. If you're using a service that is free but beyond a limit, beyond the free limit, you are again billed. So you need to be very careful with respect to service. So you need to know whether it is actually free or not. If yes, what are the limits. So yeah, and so we did go to the other website. Yes. So now let's move on to the next topic. That is the AWS shared responsibility model. So here, as AWS follows the shared responsibility model. So let's say you create an AWS account, on the website. So you have a relationship with the AWS. So between AWS and you, the customer, so each person, has some responsibility. So AWS responsibility, is security of the cloud. Customer, you the customer, your responsibility is security in the cloud. So here it is security of the cloud, here it is security in the cloud. So security of the cloud, it protects the infrastructure that runs all services. Infrastructure includes your hardware, software, networking facilities that run AWS cloud services. Customer responsibility, responsible for everything they put in cloud. I mean, whatever you put in the cloud, you're responsible for it. So again, responsible will differ based on the service selected. For example, something like EC2 or S3 or VPC, customer responsible for all necessary security configuration and management tasks as well. So here, so the very important point here to note is responsibilities differ based on the service selected. So let's say for an EC2 is there, for that particular one, the responsibility of AWS and yours slightly different from another service. So so it totally depends on the respective service. So based on the service, it would actually differ, what comes under AWS responsibility and what comes under your responsibility. But primarily to give you all a high level, so AWS is responsible for security of the cloud. You are responsible for security in the cloud. So this is one example. Again, don't literally go by this particular slide. Again, here I have also put a note here saying that responsibilities differ based on the service selected. So it depends on the different service. So here I said customer responsibility, but some services could be there where some of these things are also part of AWS. Here it is AWS responsibility, but some of these services could still be customer could still be responsible for. I mean, it all depends on the service. So this is exactly not fixed. So it basically differs on the service that we are using. So depending on the service, our responsibility differs. So what is AWS responsible for? What is customer responsible for? So the responsibilities actually differ based on the service selected. So very important to note. And the next is AWS IAM. So if we have a separate module for this, preferably third or fourth module, we will cover the identity and access management. But for now, we are just going through a brief info. So this is identity and access management module. So I mean, it is basically you'll be able to manage access to AWS services and resources securely, create and manage users and groups, use permissions to allow and deny access to AWS resources. So you can use this IAM at no additional charge, but yes, you'll be charged for this other use of other services by your users. So for using IAM, you're not charged, but for the other services that depend on, so those are chargeable. So yeah, and IAM we will discuss about it more deeply in the coming module. So we have a complete module separately for this. So we will discuss about it more detailedly. And just to give you a further heads up on this particular module. So authentication we have again like two types, programmatic access. The second one is management console access. So management console you already seen I've just shown you the screen a little while. So this is the management console. So here access to this particular one. So we are talking about programmatic access. We are talking about AWS command line interface. So those ones. So we will discuss about this as well. So this is authentication and authorization. Once you're authenticated, what exactly you should have the access for. So that is authorization. And one policy you can use for user group or IAM roles. So we have a separate complete module for this. So we will basically go through it. And the next we have is AWS pricing. So pricing, how does it work? So it says like a pay as you go approach for over 120 services. Pay only for the individual services you need for as long as you use them. You only pay for the services you consume, and once you stop using them, there are no additional cost or termination fees. Guys, if you see here, I've put a star mark here. I mean, it's like a conditions apply. So but there are some services where you stop it, you are still billed. For example, you have EC2. Even if you stop the instance because there's a volume attached to it, you are billed. Because there's a volume that is active. So not everything falls under this. So basically it's a conditions apply. And pay less when you reserve. So there is something called reserve, the pricing. So wherein you are actually, signing up for a particular instance for a particular period like 1 to 3 years. I'm just giving you an example. So what happens is, when you reserve it like that, you actually pay lesser, than the regular price. So, and you can also see the complete details about pricing, at this particular link. And so next, yeah. So pay less by using more. So your savings also increases as the usage increases. For services such as S3, which is S3 is basically a simple storage service used for storage. So pricing is tiered. So meaning the more you use, the less you pay per GB. So we have a separate module for S3. So we will, discuss more in detail there. So pay less as AWS grows. As AWS grows, customer adoption increases, AWS lowers cost. So AWS did reduce the price, of lot of services over the past many all these years. So it keeps reducing. So which ideally might mean they kept it very high also. Yeah. And the next we have is the AWS Simple Calculator. I mean, this is just to estimate your monthly bill. So this is, for a particular service, if you use it for a particular time, how much it cost is, So basic calculations you can do with this particular, calculator. Let's just look at it. Okay, so let me go to AWS Simple Monthly Calculator. This is not the 1 second, guys. Right. So this is the AWS Simply Monthly Calculator. It's just opening up. So like I said, we have regions. So these are all the regions. So let's say you want to have within, the North Virginia region, you want to have a EC2 instance. EC2 instance is nothing but it's a virtual computer. So let's say you want one instances and, you're selecting a particular type of instance. So we will discuss, more in detail, what is this exactly type of instances and all. So when we come to the EC2 section, for now, I'm just selecting something and, right. So I just selected this particular one, on-demand billing. So this particular, instance, this particular computer, basically, if we use it for one particular month full, so it's going to cost us around $2,040 approximately, including everything else, coming around $3,014. So, I mean, just to show you guys. So, right. So similarly for S3 also you can calculate how much, for Route 53, for CloudFront, for RDS. RDS is nothing but database services, CloudWatch. So a lot of these services, how much it would cost approximately, you can estimate based on your usage. So this certainly helps to an extent, though though it's not yeah. And AWS services documentation, any service documentation you want to see, you can refer this particular link. And always the easiest way is let's say you want to go for EC2 related services. Even if you just type in Google like AWS EC2, you can see here. So this is the EC2 one. So you can read all the documentation with respect to that particular service similarly. Okay, and if you click this link, so you have links for the respective services, and let's say you want to click EC2, you can open EC2. It has further links. So user guide for starting a Linux instance for Windows instances. So you can read this documentation. It certainly helps. Yeah, right. And yeah, so these are some of the things we've seen today. Introduction to AWS, a broad IT infrastructure platform, AWS global infrastructure. So there we discussed about regions, availability zones, certifications in AWS products and services, the free tier, shared responsibility model, identity and access management, AWS pricing, AWS simple calculator, and the services documentation. So so that's it, guys. This is the end of this particular module. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to upload, all these videos, basically in YouTube, each module, what I'll do is I'll just have a naming convention, something like, M1. M1 means it's a module 1. P1 is like a part 1. So if the particular module has, like, let's say 3 parts. So I'll say like, M1, P1, that is module 1, part 1. Module 1, part 2, that is P2. M1P3, that is like module 1, part 3. So that's just to help you all understand which is coming first and which is coming later. So this is the end of current module, and in the next module we will discuss about Amazon EC2. Hope this is useful. Thank you, guys.